These rocky shores where I call home, where my heart longs to be. Whenever I roam, it's these rocky shores, it's where I long to be. Yes, it's these rocky shores, they are home to me.
Whenever I leave here, it hurts me so. With tears in my eyes, oh, I hate to go. There ain't no work, and the kids need new clothes. The bills need paying, so I must go.
These rocky shores where I call home, where my heart longs to be. Whenever I roam, yes, these rocky shores, it's where I long to be. Yes, these rocky shores, they're home to me.
Where did it all go? The life I once had on the ocean road. My tears in my eyes and my head in my hands, away from my family, I hope they understand.
That is these rocky shores where I call home, that's where my heart longs to be. Whenever I roam, it's these rocky shores where I long to be. Yes, these rocky shores, they are home to me. Yes, these rocky shores, they are home to me.
Good evening and welcome to this week in review. Tonight's stories include public meeting at the community centre concerning boating regulations, the A.J. Matthews primary students take an evening off from school, update on the Brightside Youth Centre. These stories plus community events, BBS Playbill, Off the Rack and more coming up after this.
The war amps know the cost of war. It would be compounding the tragedy if we did not tell about it. What better group to hear the story than the graduates of our child amputee program, Operation Legacy, seminars at which the war amps, partly through our Never Again videos, interpret the horror of war. These champs can then pass on the message. Operation Legacy, a war amps program warning of the tragedy in human terms.
On Thursday, we took our cameras to the community centre where a public meeting was being held concerning the new boating regulations. A large number of residents came out for the meeting. Mr. Jeff Wheaton from the Coast Guard in Stephenville presented the new boating regulations. As of April 1st, 1999, these new regulations will be law.
Making Canadian waters safer. Changes that will affect boaters. Okay, there's four basic categories. There's age and horsepower restrictions. Right now, in Canada, any individual of any age can operate any horsepower motor. Right? Up until now. That's been changed. Operator competency, that's a big one there. that's going to affect us all eventually. I mean, all recreational boaters, right? Small vessel regulations. Under the small vessel regulations, there's the minimum safety equipment, right? Under those regulations, we find what the equipment is that's required to be carried in our boat, in our recreational boat. There's been a few changes there. Nothing earth-shattering, just a few minor changes in the equipment. There's some changes in compliance plates and capacity plates, that sort of thing, and in the minimum safety precautions. And the minimum safety precautions basically deal with refueling procedures as pertains to gasoline boats, gasoline-powered boats. Okay? And then there's the Contraventions Act, and we'll touch briefly on that. Okay, we'll start with the first one, the age and horsepower restrictions. In the first category, we've got under 12 years. If you're not accompanied and directly supervised by a person 16 years and older, you can operate up to 10 horsepower. That's your limit, right? 12 years old, up to 10 horsepower. Unless you're directly supervised by an adult. And supervised means that that adult is on board the boat with that other person, not being supervised from shore. The next category, between 12 and 16 years. If you're not accompanied and directly supervised by a person 16 years or older, you can operate up to 40 horsepower. Okay, this is reasonable. Older, of course, above 16 years, it's unrestricted. And the last one, under 16, you're prohibited from operating a personal watercraft, period. And the personal watercraft they're referring to, of course, you may know them by the manufacturer's names: jet ski, Sea-Doo, right? No one under the age of 16 will be permitted to operate a personal watercraft. How do I prove my competency? And this is referring to that gentleman that asked the question. But how do you get the competency? First of all, proof of a boating safety course taken before April 1st, 1999, this year. And there is no exception. I put this question directly to the people that actually designed these regulations, and there is no exception. A boating course is a boating course is a boating course. If you have a certificate, a piece of paper, a slip of paper that shows that you did attend some boating course, it's good, it's valid, right? No exception.
As of September 15, 1999, youth born after April 1st, 1983 will require proof of competency on board to operate a boat fitted with a motor. As of September 15, 2002, any person operating a boat fitted with a motor and less than 4 meters, including PWC, will require proof of competency on board. All operators will require proof of competency on board by September 15, 2009. Some of the residents attending the meeting had some valid concerns. For example, if someone can't read, how can they write the test? If you have to take the test more than once, will you have to pay each time you take the course? The cost of the course hasn't yet been determined. The course hasn't been developed yet either. Mr. Wheaton didn't know who would be putting off the course, but he told the group that he or someone would try to get the answers to all these concerns. He also gave a toll-free number for you to call for more information about these new regulations. The number is 1-800-267-6687. 1-800-267-6687. One of the members of the Recreation Commission gave us a tape that was filmed in 1986 or 87. It shows some of the children talking about skating on an outdoor rink as opposed to skating on an indoor rink. I'm sure you can recognize some of these boys.
Do you enjoy playing hockey on the open ice here?
Yes.
What do you like most about it?
Sunny. You can see sun and Well, the worst thing about open ice, you got shoveled off every now and then.
Have you played in storms?
Yes.
Tell us about one instance.
A couple weeks ago, we were playing real cold, and one of the goalies, right there, Tyson Ingram, got his ears froze.
What is it you like about it?
It's fun and good ice.
Good ice? I see there's a few cracks there. You ever trip up on those?
Yeah.
Hurt yourself?
No.
Now, you play on this kind of a ice surface. Have you ever thought about playing in a stadium?
Yes.
Would you like to play in a stadium?
Yes.
Why?
Because a lot warmer.
On an outdoor rink?
Yes.
What do you like about it?
Skating, scoring.
What about the fresh air? Do you like that too?
Yes.
How do you enjoy playing hockey?
I like it.
And any heroes in the National Hockey League you like to turn out to be one?
Cam Neely.
Cam Neely. Why do you like Cam Neely?
Artist checker.
Artist checker. What kind of weather have you played in? Have you played in stormy conditions?
Yeah, a lot.
Yeah. Tell me about it.
There was one day, it was a snowstorm. We had the goalie, and I don't know, somebody shot the puck, and the goalie jumped out. He thought he had it covered, but the puck was about a meter away from him. It was covered in snow, and he couldn't see it.
Did it improve at all? Did it get any better before the game was over?
No, it went harder.
Do you look forward to playing hockey after school and on the weekends?
Yeah.
The outdoor rink?
Yes.
Yeah. What do you like about it?
Well, the ice is good, and I like playing defense.
Yeah. How do you find the ice? You say it's good. What do you mean? It's fast?
Yeah.
Yeah. You don't always get a nice day like today. Have you played in some bad weather?
Yes.
Yeah. Tell me about it.
Well, one day it was all kind of snow and ice and very windy. When we tried to shoot puck, well, it didn't go very far, and sometimes we couldn't see it.
Would you like to play in a stadium?
Yes.
Yeah. Why?
Because, well, on bad days you'll be able to play hockey, and it's nicer like that.
Our camera to the rink on Tuesday to watch the novices go through their drills and to play a hockey game. We spoke to some of the players to see how they like playing the game of hockey.
What's your name? Shannon Ball? Hi, Shannon. Do you like playing hockey? Yeah. Somebody tells me you're going to St. George's the weekend. Have you ever played on the indoor arena before? No. Are you looking forward to it? Yeah. What's the best thing you like about hockey? You like what? Oh, having fun, yeah. And it looks like you're a really good skater. Yeah, well, good luck Saturday. Thanks. Do you like playing hockey, Christopher? Yeah. Have you played on the indoor arena before? No. Are you going to this weekend? Yeah, where you going? Yeah, you're going in and play a hockey game. What's the best thing you like about hockey? Getting scores. Allison Arrett? Yeah. Are you the only girl playing hockey? Are you? Do you like it? Yeah, do you having fun?
Yeah.
What's the best thing you like about hockey? Getting scores. Have you got any? How many did you get? Hey, how many you get? 1, 2? Can't remember? Oh, well. Have you played on the indoor arena before?
No.
Are you going away this weekend to play? Oh, you looking forward to it? Oh, thanks, Allison. Hi, Jeremy. You like playing hockey?
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you played hockey before?
Yeah.
Yeah. How many years now?
2.
2? Oh, you must be a really good player then, aren't you?
Yeah.
What's the best you like about hockey?
Oh, you get to learn a lot of skating. Get skating and some tricks.
Oh, I see. Yeah, have you got any scores?
Yeah.
Oh, good for you. Have you played on the indoor arena before? Once. Did you like it?
Yeah.
Do you like playing on indoors or outdoors, Biff?
Indoors.
How come?
Because it's a lot warmer and off the ladder.
Oh, very good. So you're going into St. George's the weekend too, are you?
Yeah.
Okay, thanks for talking to me.
Yeah.
Shane Domney, right? Yeah. And I understand you've been playing hockey for a while. How many years?
4.
4? Wow. Think you're a good player? No. I suppose you get the scatter score, do you? Yeah. Have you played on the indoor arena before, Shane?
Yeah.
What do you think you like this? Outdoors or indoors?
Indoors.
How come?
It's warmer.
Warmer? Is that the only reason?
No.
No? What's another reason?
Yeah, Richard.
You got to do what?
Richard.
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah. So you're going in St. George's on the weekend?
Yeah.
Oh, well, good luck to you.
Yeah.
Thanks for talking to me.
Yeah.
See you later.
Coach Leonard Ball told us that they have approximately 14 players in the novice group. 7 are in the 5 to 7 age group, and 7 are into 8 and 9-year-olds. Mr. Ball also told us he would love to see more people playing hockey. He thinks one of the big problems is that parents don't want to pay a lot of money for their children to play hockey when they might not get the ice to play on. This year hasn't been too bad, but they still have to depend on the weather to determine if it is cold enough for the ice to freeze. I guess some things hasn't changed much since 1986. The primary students of A.J. Matthews took the afternoon off from school on Wednesday of this week. The teachers and students decided to take advantage of the good ice conditions at the rink and went skating. Some of the students were very good skaters, while others were just starting out. Some of the parents were trying to help the students skate, or was it the students helping the parents? Whichever way it was, everyone seemed to be enjoying the time off from school. Stay with us for more of This Week in Review coming up after this.
Little things you do that you think are small and few are the things that mean the most to me. So just keep giving whatever you're giving, 'cause even when you're giving just a little,
if you're doing just a little, you're helping a lot.
it helps a lot.
From the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints.
It helps a lot.
Constable Egan Anderson stopped by our studios on Thursday to give us an update on the Bright Side Youth Center. Today in our studio we have Constable Egan Anderson, and he's going to give us an update on the Bright Side Youth Center. Good day.
Good day. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
Good.
So everything's going down to the youth center?
Actually, the youth center is progressing very well. The number of youth that are involved, well, I guess first of all I should describe what exactly the Bright Sights Youth Center is. The Bright Sights Youth is a community-based organization centered around the young people of Burgeo. The mandate of the Bright Sights Youth is sort of to give the youth a place to go, something to do on the weekends, give them a sense of belonging, someplace they can go to get around with other youth, to get involved in games, sports, or just to hang out. a lot of complaints from the young people in recent times have been there's just nothing for them to do. And that's why the Bright Sites Youth set up the youth center up at St. John Central High School, sort of help to answer that question. And on a regular basis, we get approximately during the afternoon, there's 2 sessions on a Saturday. Friday evening is for youth grades 7 to age 18. Saturday afternoon is young people between kindergarten and grade 6. And then Saturday evening is back to the grade 7 to high school range. In the afternoons, the average turnout is about 20 people, 20 young people. And in the evenings, we're getting upwards of 60 to 70 youth coming down to the youth center. And so far, it's been going very well. The youth center has purchased some equipment by raising money through a recyclable program and through a membership fee that each youth paid in order to go. And they were able to buy some pool tables, some ping pong tables. They've had some items donated by the community, which has been fantastic because a lot of those items the Bright Sites just wouldn't have been able to afford. And the youth that are taking part in it have had nothing but good things to say. So obviously the youth center itself is working in order to give the youth something to do. So it's going quite well.
So you're a volunteer, obviously, on the committee?
Yes, I'm one of the 3 adult advisors on the committee. The committee is made up of 7 youth and 3 adult advisors, Ada Batcher from Social Services, myself, who represent the RCMP, and Ann Brayon, who represents the community of Burgeo. And then there are 7 youth as well. I hope I don't forget anyone. There's Jody Sims, Bernie Benoit, Julie and Victor Benoit, Melissa and Dana Pink, and Rhonda Green, I believe.
Very good.
So they are on the committee, and we meet occasionally to see if there's anything that we can do better as far as the committee is concerned.
Okay, now we understand that you've had some paid workers at your volunteer youth center on the weekends.
Yes.
And are they finished with their?
Yes, we applied through the HRDC program, the FRAM program, in order to get some paid workers who would come in on a nightly basis. There's, other than just the evening work on the weekends, there's lots of things that go on during the week that normally our volunteers take care of. Things like the recyclable program, getting that sorted, picking up items, and just preparing for the week and looking after items at the school. And when we applied, we got permission, or we were given the funds to hire 3 workers from the community. And I know we were talking earlier about how people might respond to that. Basically what happened is that the Bright Sites Youth Organization runs on a volunteer basis. And we were running into problems with getting the number of volunteers we need. Each session, there's 4 sessions a weekend. There's the like I said, the Friday evening, the Saturday afternoon and Saturday evening, and the Sunday afternoon. In each session, you need to have 3 adult volunteers supervising the young people. That comes under our insurance policy and whatnot. And we were having trouble getting the volunteers. The busy time of year was coming along, Christmas and New Year's, and with winter and everything else that was going on, we found that we were having to rely more and more on the same people, and we were overtaxing our volunteer base. With the possibility of getting some hired workers that would be their full-time job, we decided to go through with applying for it, and our application was successful. And we hired 3 people. Unfortunately, that program is now complete for those 3 individuals, and we're looking now to look back to our volunteer base. The fact that we need 3 volunteers a session might not sound like such a big deal, but when you're only dealing with a small group of people who actually were volunteering their time, we ran into some problems. Like I said, we were calling on the same people over and over again. So
that's what you're looking for now is?
Yeah, we're looking for our volunteers to come back and help out with the organization. Now, prior to the hiring of the 3 individuals to work full-time, our volunteers were fantastic. They came out for us when we called on them, and they were greatly appreciated. And it's that type of commitment we want to sort of tap back into within the community of Burgeo to get the volunteers back out. Normally it is an adult relative, parent, or uncle or something of one of the Bright Sites members. But it can be anyone in the community who wants to do something for the youth. As a police officer, I know that several of my conversations with individuals, they tell me that they feel that the youth not having anything to do is a problem in Burgeo. It contributes to different types of crimes and what I call crimes or acts of boredom. Just not having anything to do, sometimes you get into some trouble. And a way to alleviate that is by giving them some place to go and something to do, and the Bright Sites Youth Center does that. But without the volunteers, that center has to close down. Anyone who's been to court recently in Burgeo will see a big difference in the amount of youth. The last court we had, there was no youth before the judge. And to me, that's fantastic. The amount of petty crime, petty vandalism, and other acts of boredom are greatly diminished, are down, way down, to the point now where we haven't had a report of anything like that in a long time, especially on the weekends when it was happening. And I'm not saying that the Bright Sites Youth Center is the only reason for that, but I think it's a large contributor to the reduction in that type of crime.
We have probably volunteers people listening who volunteered at the youth center before, and I know I've heard it myself, and they'll say, well, you had paid people down there before. Yeah. I was down there volunteering. Why should I come down there now? Like, you know, you had them there before and kind of like chuck us to one side type of thing. Yeah. How would you answer that?
Well, first of all, I wouldn't necessarily say we chucked them to one side. Our volunteer base prior to the hiring of the 3 individuals, although it was there, it was very small. And we saw this as an opportunity to take the pressure off those volunteers who were volunteering week after week after week, taking time out of their schedule. And we hope that through that 14-week period, we would be able to build upon the knowledge or build upon the fact that the Bright Sites is in Burgeo, and use that time to sort of build up our own reputation. And then when the 14 weeks was up, then perhaps we would have a greater number of volunteers or a bigger volunteer base to draw from. We basically, before the program began with us, we were getting the same faces in Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday afternoon, and then the same people were being called the next week. And in every community, you and I were sort of talking about it earlier, every community there are a group of people who just can't say no. And unfortunately, sometimes those people are taken advantage of. And we thought that's what was sort of happening here in Burgeo. Those people that just couldn't say no to us were being overly taxed and being called upon too often. This gave us a chance to give them a rest and let them enjoy some of their weekends. And hopefully now, with what we're doing here, the Bright Sites Youth Center will be better known, and maybe there are more people in Burgeo who want to get involved with it.
Okay, how many would you say is registered to the Bright Sites Youth Center now?
Right now we've got over 230 young people registered at the Bright Sites Youth Center. They represent about 120, 125 different families. So there is a base out there to draw volunteers from. I think I had it worked out that if one parent or one adult relative of one of the members were to volunteer just a few hours of their time, if everybody did that, you would only have to volunteer a few hours every 2.5, 3 months. So you're looking at giving up one Friday night out of 10 to come down and spend some time with your children, which I don't think anyone can disagree that that's a good thing.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, I've volunteered down there and I enjoyed it immensely. So what do you think, if you don't, is there a limited number of, or a minimum number of volunteers that you would operate with? Would you go back to what you were before? For example, you were saying that was the same group of people over. Would you still operate at that level of volunteers?
We would try to operate at that level as long as we could. I think that having the Bright Sites Youth Center is such a positive thing that it would be a shame to set some sort of a a number. If we don't have this many number of volunteers, then we're going to close it down. The center is in fear of being closed because we can't fulfill our volunteer base. We can't get enough people, in other words, to volunteer to spend their time there as adult supervisors. As far as what the youth are doing in and around town, they're spending their time in a constructive manner. There's no more, or there, at least there's not as much of young people hanging out in areas that aren't necessarily appropriate for them to hang out at. I think the young people have been chased from just about every corner and spot in Burgeo that they've been gathering. The Bright Sites Youth Center is one of the few places that we say, come on in and hang out and sort of do what you want here. It's a place that the youth in town can call their own, and they know they're not going to get chased out of there. If that were to close down, I think you'd start to see a rise again in young people getting into trouble with the law, into trouble with their parents, again, for doing things that aren't really appropriate for them. And I think for us to look at setting a number of volunteers that we need to have, no, we won't do that. We'll keep it up and running as long as we can, but if the volunteer base dwindles away and we can't fulfill the number of volunteers we need, then we'll have to close down the center.
Okay. Is there a procedure? Are you going to be contacting parents, or are you just want parents who's interested to call any member of the Bright Sites? And
yeah, well, there's a couple of ways you can volunteer if you want to, and as far as contacting, getting in touch with parents or other people who want to get involved, that's what that's one of the reasons why I'm here today to talk to you, is to just let people know the Bright Sites are there. They can contact Ada Vatcher at Social Services. They can contact myself at the RCMP, or they can contact any of the members of the committee that I mentioned earlier. And if they want to, they can ask one of their young people, their son or daughter or niece or nephew or whatever, that mention to one of those people that I'm interested. And we'll get back to them.
Very good. So hopefully we'll see some improvement and get some volunteers.
Oh, definitely.
Anything else you wanted to add? Your recycling program.
Yes.
How's that coming along?
It's going. It's very well. The bank account of the Bright Sites is starting to build again. We are looking to purchase new and better equipment for the young people, and the money that we're raising, we do that through primarily three ways. We have our membership fee, which each youth pays just once, and then they're a member. We have our canteen services that we put on during the evening. We don't make a lot of money through that. We make some, and it pays for itself anyway. And then we have our recyclable program, and that goes every second Monday. And there's usually ads on BBS reminding people that this Monday is recyclable night, and they can drop their recyclables off at the RCMP detachment, or they can call the Bright Sites youth, and we can swing by and pick it up ourselves from them. And like I said, our bank account is growing. Unfortunately, our space to store things at St. John Central High is growing smaller, not because it's getting taken away from us, it's just that we're filling it up with more and more stuff. So it's sort of limiting how much we can put in there. Now with the proposed new school that's to be built, we're hoping that we might be able to incorporate into the District 4 plans a place where we can store more and more equipment. We've got, like I said, pool tables, ping pong tables, televisions, card tables. I mean, we've got a lot of things.
Yeah.
But
so there's a lot of people contributing to the recyclables?
yes, the support behind the program has been very, very good so far, and we just hope to see that build and build. I know myself, when I first arrived here, I was throwing things out in the garbage that I had no idea were recyclable. And now that I know, I save them and I bring them down to the office now and again. So I think if more and more people know that rather than just throwing out their empty beverage cartons or whatnot, just put them in a corner someplace and someone will be by every second Monday and take it off their hands for them. Rather than filling up our landfills, they can fill up the pockets of Bright Sites.
Yeah, and then you can buy more
and
ping
then
pong
we can
tables.
buy. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Well, thanks very much for joining us today.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me on.
Now over to Barbara Barter with the council report.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Town Council held their regular meeting on Wednesday, February the 3rd, 1999. The following topics were discussed. The application for funding for an arena has been sent to the Department of Municipal Affairs. This does not mean that an arena will be constructed. If the application should get approved, then all areas of municipal funding and operation cost will be looked at by the Council. As well, the general public will be notified and asked for their input. 2 building applications were approved for the community, one for a resident to add an extension to his dwelling, and the other for a resident to construct a greenhouse in their rear yard. Council has received a letter from Enviro West, a company in Port aux Basques, who is currently in the process of developing and implementing a community cleanup program, which will be carried out with no cost to the town. The company has offered to come into Burgeo, into the garbage dump, and remove items such as iron and steel, scrap metals such as old fridges, stoves, washers, dryers, water heaters, and any other salvageable metals. Council is checking into this project before they make a decision as to whether the town should become involved. Council has discovered that there is a break in the main water line in Messers Road in the area of Mr. Stan Grant's. At the present time, it is not causing any great problem other than more water going through the system and a slight drop in pressure around town. In order to repair this break, the water would have to be shut off on Messers Road, Messers Lane, and Spencer's Road, and this could cause some residents' water to freeze. If the problem does not get any worse, Council will wait until spring to do the repairs. If something should happen and the repairs have to be done before spring, then everyone will be notified and every precaution will be taken to ensure water lines do not freeze. Council has received a report on the results of the 1998 Tidy Towns competition, in which Burgeo was recognized for the best sandy beaches. This report will be published in the Southwest Times. The town will get involved again this year, and everyone will be asked to participate and see if we can't improve on last year's showing. If we all pull together, there is no reason why we can't be a winner this year. So we ask the residents, when the time comes to take part in the Tidy Towns competition, that we all do our best to do a regular community cleanup, in particular around our own lawns and gardens and yard areas, and even helping to collect the garbage from the sides of the streets. A clean town will help promote tourism in our community. Thank you and good evening.
Tuesday, February 9th is Election Day. Don't forget to get out and exercise your right to vote. Polling divisions 1, 2, 3, and 4 are in the Parish Hall. Polling division 5, 6, and 7 are at the United Church Hall. If you're not sure which polling station you have to go to, just go where you voted in the previous provincial elections. Here are the 3 candidates seeking your vote in the election on Tuesday.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Calvin Parsons, your Liberal candidate in this election for the district of Burgeo and Lapoille. In this election, Brian Tobin is asking you for a mandate to continue with his vision for our province. That vision will see Newfoundland and Labrador reap fair and just benefits from our many natural resources. That vision will improve our traditional industries, the fishery, forestry, mining, and construction. That vision will focus on the new economy, tourism, cultural industries, and technology. That vision will see increased attention and new opportunities for our rural communities, the essence of Newfoundland and Labrador, and clearly the essence of Burgeo-Lapoille District. It will also, ladies and gentlemen, continue the mandate to improve education and health care for each and every resident of our province. In short, a vision that gives us a solid platform for entry into the third millennium. There are some issues the district has in common with all communities, such as health and education. The Liberal Party has made health a priority, and Premier Tobin has committed every penny to be received from the federal government this spring to improvement of the health care system. Burgeo will also be receiving a new school, which was announced earlier. Certainly a positive move. But a new building will also require quality programming in order to produce quality students. There are also issues which are exclusive to Burgeo, such as the fishery and recreation. The latest developments with respect to the fish plant, as relayed to you by Mayor Han, are certainly a reason for optimism. Recreational pursuits, such as the multi-purpose facility, still require work and effort in order to become a reality. There remains much to be done, but with a sound economic base and an improved health and education system, many other problems, such as outmigration, will look after themselves. I've had 20 years as a lawyer, identifying issues, analyzing problems, and finding solutions. I would like an opportunity to apply my skills and experience for the residents of Burgeo. The problems and issues of today will still be there following this election. I feel I would be the best person to serve your interest and solve those problems after February the 9th. Your support would be greatly appreciated on voting day. Please, vote Liberal, vote Kelvin Parsons on February 9th. Thank you.
Hello everyone, I am Owen Merton and I am your NDP candidate for the District of Burgeo-Lapoil. I am 44 years old, I'm married to Paulette. We have two boys, Joey is 15, Roger is 18 years old. The reason I have decided to run in this election is mostly because of the indifference shown to rural Newfoundland. Even in this election, there's been very little talk about rural Newfoundland, rural Newfoundlanders. They talk about Voisey's Bay, they talk about the Lower Churchill, but in my opinion, the Tobin government has had plenty of opportunity in the last number of years that he's been elected to try and change things in rural Newfoundland, to create some employment in rural Newfoundland, and there are ways he can do that. He's failed to do that though. So being from a smaller community and from rural Newfoundland, I'd love the opportunity to get in and talk about changes that can be done and see if we can't change things in our rural communities. We certainly are losing our communities, and if there isn't something done to change that, if everybody don't stand up or somebody don't stand up and fight for it, then some of these communities will disappear. I think that it's a shame because I firmly believe there are things we can do about it. During this election, I'd like to focus on jobs. Like I said, I think there's a lot that can be done to create jobs, and we've proven it can be done in this community. If we can get the clam operation going, it can be a brand new industry for this province, and we still can do things with the natural resources that comes from the sea, everything from shark to a sea urchin. I think if the government would relax some of the regulations and some of the fees, they would have people involved in other species. There's 3 sea urchin plants in Newfoundland, and as far as I know, there's sea urchins all around the Newfoundland coast. So it seems to me there should be a lot more sea urchin plants to start with, but you can't get a processing license right now in this province. And clams, I find it very difficult to believe that the only clams in Newfoundland are found on this coast. So we do have the expertise, and if we took the initiative, I think that there could be a lot of jobs created for rural Newfoundlanders, and that would include places like Burgeo and the surrounding areas. The Tobin government certainly have had the opportunity to do it, and I don't think they have even bothered. I've seen no changes coming from them that would indicate they're even concerned about rural communities. As far as my background in politics, community development, community involvement goes, my background in politics would have to come from the union. That's where I learned my best to represent the people there. And I have been involved with the community for a good many years, through the Newfoundland Amateur Hockey, the Boy Scouts, organization which I first introduced to Burgeo a few years ago. I've been involved with community development since 1992, and with regards to my personal attributes, I'd like to think that honesty is my best attribute. When I get involved with committees, I try to do the best I can. I want to be the best that I can be at what I am doing on the committees, and I don't mislead people. If there's something that I don't think can be achieved, I'll tell them that. But I think I can be a good fighter if I thought there was something I could help with, and I'd fight hard to make sure that it got accomplished. As far as community development goes, I started in community development back in 1992. As I said earlier, when the Anglican Church organized a community meeting in the high school. Reverend Charles had the foresight to see that we had some tough years facing us. So he called a meeting with Mr. Bill Party and a co-representative as guest. I became the chairperson at that first committee meeting of the Burgeo Diversification Development Committee back in 1992. And we've had some changes in names since that, but basically that is where it all started from. Later, I was invited to sit with the Community Advisory Committee to try and create jobs, mostly for plant workers, fishermen, trawlermen, people that were involved with the fishery. So this committee had some new faces, as well as members of the old committee, being the BDDC. And we were the last CAC committee in Newfoundland and Labrador. Probably our biggest achievement from this committee was the construction of the comfort dumping station at Sandbanks Provincial Park. From there, from the CAC, we moved on to the Industrial Adjustment Services. That was done with the cooperation of the union in conjunction with HRDC. Mr. Ridge Anstey mentioned to me at one time that he thought we could get some industrial adjustment money. And when Mr. Laurie Pickford mentioned the same thing, then what I advised him to do was make a phone call and see what could be done in this area. And that's basically where the IIS started from. The present committee of the Burgeo Diversification Development Board, the BDDB, is a spin-off from the IIS. So it's been 7 years of keeping at it and trying to do what we can for the community. And I think there has been some progress, but there obviously hasn't been enough. I remember when I first started, I had to pay all my long-distance calls. Really wasn't sure in what direction we were going way back in 1992. Very few people within the community had any idea about development, and we just didn't know where to go. But we kept at it, and in 1993, I was introduced to Charlotte Story. She had some ideas and lots of energy, so I made contact with her when I went to St. John's on a sea urchin trip. And so we finally got together. We ended up with some roundtable discussions, and we developed a plan for Burgeo where we identified some resources and looked at the best possible chances of developing a resource. We thought at that time that the soft shell clam would be our best bet, and that's where we went. And this is some years later, but we did have a harvest in 1994 and employed 34 full-time people. There's been a lot of work since that. We have had to make certain there was a sustainable harvest there, and hopefully we will see some positive results in the near future. So that's where I spent most of my time with community development. I am still involved with other committees. I am involved with the Burgeo Action Committee to try to do something about the fish plant. I am also on the Burgeo Hospital Steering Committee in trying to form a district advisory committee, as well as I'm presently still with the Development Committee. I also took a couple of courses since the downfall of the fishery. I did a couple of courses in aquaculture and 2 in geology, so there hasn't been much spare time. After the downfall of the fishery, I decided to try and find something still viable that's within the community, even though many of my fellow workers, friends and family had to move away from their own. I have had no intention of moving, and I thought these courses might give me some possibilities to stay here. With the aquaculture, the government announced that $100 million was going to be put into aquaculture. And that was the reason that I left there. I went to the Marine Institute in St. John's and took the course, only to find out later that $100 million was put into administration. There were no jobs for the fishermen, fish farmer. So I have really tried my best to stay in this community, a rural community where, like everyone else, I like to have the option of staying. As far as the announcement made by Brian Tobin, and this is more concerned the people in Port-au-Basque and that area, earlier this week, that the Marine Atlantic Gulf Ferry Service should be privatized or declared an essential service. I feel that if this service is privatized, past records clearly show that prior to the privatization of our coastal service, most, if not all, of our coastal communities had a better service. We can all recall the effective service we received from boats such as the Taverner, the Hopedale, the Marine Runner. If the Marine Gulf Ferry Service is declared an essential service, the government will have taken away the workers' right to strike. This sends a message that the government can interfere every time employees and employers have had a difference of opinion. It is my belief that you negotiate a settlement. You do not impose or force a settlement. Employees will only rebel, and it will result in worker discontentment. To conclude, I would like to say that the final cash settlement for fishery workers has arrived, and this means that time has run out. The Liberal government has no plans for rural Newfoundlanders. I would like to be the voice for all rural Newfoundlanders. The last thing I would like to say is that we were a little bit late getting started in this campaign. We did have some meetings this week in St. John's. I didn't want to go to St. John's representing NDP, only the community of Burgeo, and that's why it took a while to get started. We do now have an office set up at the Union Hall. We invite anybody that's interested to come on in. We certainly can use your help. The number up there is 886-2013 if you want to contact us there, or you can call myself at home, 886-2830, or Florence Courtney at 886-2456. Thank you very much.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Greg Sheaves, and I'm your PC candidate for Burgeo-Lapoil. I decided to run in this election because I'm fed up with this Liberal government. It's just been downhill for the last 10 years, and I feel I can make a difference. As you know, I'm not a stranger in the Burgeo district. I spent time in Burgeo when we joined up the main highway into your town. I also came into your town and tore down the old Burgeo fish plant, so I'm not a stranger. My face is fairly familiar, but I'm putting my job on the line to represent you in the House of Assembly in St. John's and to do it to the best of my ability. I'm not afraid to work. I'm a strong speaker, and this is why I felt I had to do this. A lot of people would say, why did you wait so long? I also have 2 businesses in Port-au-Basque that I have to attend to. There was a lot of arrangements that had to be made. I had to speak to my common law spouse, Cindy. She agreed 100% in favor, so I finally made that decision. You know as well as I know, we've been misled for the past 10 years, and it's about time for a change. Our health care is in dire straits. Something's got to be done. Our fishery is gone. All we have is Band-Aid projects and job creation. We need long-term employment. This is the type of things I think I can come up with. I can deal with all those issues because I've been in business from the past 21 years. But I'm not doing it for the job of money. I've got that. I make as much in 3 months as what the MHA makes in a full year. But I have got concerns for this district, and that's my main intention, is you the people. And I feel I can do something about it. Also, if you don't go into the secondary processing, we've lost twice the jobs. If you lose your jobs, people got to move away to get to work. If they move away, they take their kids. If they take the kids, they shut down the schools. If they shut down the schools, we don't need the teachers. And it's a total chain reaction. Also, if we didn't have someone in this running, the Liberal candidate would go in by 800 votes by nomination. In that fact, 8,000 people in this district wouldn't have the right to vote, and that's not fair. So, by speaking out on different issues, I feel I can make a difference for this district. And you can count on me. I will return the calls, not like in the past, from other Liberal members. Also, from my past experience in business, I know of job creation. I know of problems with people as employers and penalties. Employees drawing EI benefits that take on part-time employment. They also get penalized by going back after and reclaiming on their EI benefits. This is the kind of things that has got to be adjusted by this government, and I feel that I can do my part with no problems whatsoever. Also, they're talking about tourism. How can we create tourism, for example, like Burgeo Sandbanks Parks? You don't see much signage on the highway. We don't have any flyers on the CN ferries, so how can we promote it? This is the kind of things that we've got to attack. So all I can say to you people in Burgeo, you can meet with me when we attend Burgeo meetings on Wednesday and Thursday, and you can ask me any questions and I'll give you the answers. So that's why I ask for your support on election day and vote for me, Greg Sheaves, as your PC candidate for Burgeo-Lapoille. Thank you very much.
Stay with us for Off the Rack, community events, and the BBS Playbill, all after this.
Dear Mrs. Coleman, you don't know me, but I know you know my old red house at the end of the lane. Please forgive me for tracking you down, but I had to thank you. I'm not sure what inspired your kindness. Oh, it's a godsend. Since my wretched hip surgery, just getting to the end of the lane and back takes nearly half an hour, and sometimes the pain just isn't worth it. You brought me something much more important than newspapers. You brought me the understanding that it's the small, the simple things that really help people.
If you're doing just a little, you're helping a lot. From the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints.
Off the Rack. This week as we scanned our tape rack, we came across a tape of a kindergarten graduation in 1987. These students will be having another graduation in May. How many of them do you recognize?
In a cottage in the woods, a little man by the window stood, saw a rabbit nothing but knocking at his door. Help me, help me, help me, said, or the underbrush should be dead. Little rabbit, come with me, happy we will be. Little man by the window stood, saw a rabbit nothing but knocking at his door. Help me, help me, help me, said, or the underbrush should be dead. Little rabbit, come with me, happy we will be. So a rabbit nothing but knocking at his door. Help me, help me, help me, said, or the underbrush should be dead. Little rabbit, come with me, happy we will be. Help me, help me, said, or the underbrush should be dead. Little rabbit, come with me, happy we will be.
Good evening and welcome to the community event segment of tonight's broadcast. I'm Rhonda Green. The winner of the Lions TV Bingo were Pauline Marsden, Heda Vatcher, Norma Ball, Linda Rimmel, and Hellis Rimmel. Congratulations to you all. The grad class ELP committee will be having TV Bingo on Wednesday, February 10th at 7 p.m. Cards are $1 each, or 6 for $5, and are available from the grad class for HELP committee member. or they can be purchased in most stores around town. Please support the grad class elk committee. Play TV bingo. A.J. Matthews Elementary School reports will be sent home on Monday, February the 8th. Open house is scheduled for February the 10th and 11th. Parents are reminded to return report cards as soon as possible. School will close at 2 p.m. on both open house days. Congratulations to Albert Ricketts, the latest winner at the Virgil Minor Hockey Pool. Hockey pool players are reminded that cards are to be passed in by Thursday of each week. Play the pool. You could be the next winner. If your group or organization has an upcoming event planned, we would be happy to advertise it for you. You can contact the DBS office by Wednesday of each week to have photos included in this portion of our broadcast. That concludes the community event segment of tonight's program. See you next week.
BBS Playbill. Tune in on Tuesday at 7 p.m. for a rebroadcast of Pansy's Garden. Join us on Wednesday, February the 10th at 7 p.m. for a grad class Elk Committee TV bingo. Join Pansy and the gang for 2 stories of craft and lots of fun on Saturday mornings at 11 a.m. on Pansy's Garden. On Sunday at 6:30 p.m. we will have Christian Unity service from the Faith United Church. And I'll be here again next week with This Week in Review. For This Week in Review, I'm Marie Rose. Good night.